Hi everyone, and welcome to this video. My name is Christina Aroche. I am the Archangel channel. I'm a spiritual teacher and mentor, and I'm here to guide you on your journey of spiritual growth and awakening by teaching you about the Archangels, who they are, how they're here to support you, and how you can connect with them in your everyday life to receive that guidance and that support, that healing, that love, and that divine presence that the Archangels bring. And in this video, I am talking about how you are so worthy of everything that you desire, okay? You are absolutely worthy of anything that your heart desires that is there to support you for your highest good. You are worthy of that. Okay, and I learned this lesson in a very interesting way. So I want to share my experience, my recent experience with recognizing my own worth, okay, and recognizing that I am worthy of my desires, okay? And this goes for every single person. It's not me who is special in any way. We all go through different experiences. We all have different desires. We all have different things that our soul has come here to experience and that we want to create in our life. And one of the most important things when it comes to creation and when it comes to manifesting is that you have to understand that you are worthy. You have to feel worthy of those desires. And it's important to understand when it comes to worthiness, when it comes to feeling good enough, it's important to understand that you do not have to prove yourself to anyone. Okay, you do not have to prove that you are worthy. You do not have to show anything to anyone. You are worthy because of who you are. You are worthy because you are you. You are worthy because you are a divine being of light. Okay, every single one of us is a divine being of light that was created from source energy. You were created from divine love. And one of the things that the Archangels are here to support us with and to guide us through is remembering our worthiness, okay? Because if we want something, if we desire to live in a certain way or a certain amount of money or to have a certain experience, maybe it's to have that soulmate, romantic partner, whatever it is that you want in your life, if you don't feel worthy of it, if you don't feel like you are good enough to have it in your life, then you're blocking it from actually entering into your life, okay? Because you're sending out the signal to the universe that, no, I don't want to have that. I don't really want to have that. Because even though maybe consciously in your mind you're saying that you want it, your energy is saying something completely different. Okay, and so this is one of the most important things when you are manifesting, when you are creating things on purpose in your life, which is the most fun way to live life, is to create your life on purpose with the help of the Archangels and manifesting. The most important thing is to recognize your worthiness, okay? To feel worthy of what you desire. So let me share my experience with this and what happened to me and how I did not manifest the thing that I wanted because of these feelings of not being worthy, which I did not recognize were there until I didn't manifest what I wanted, okay? And so, at least at that point, I had not manifested it. I did manifest it later once I worked through the stuff that came up. So let me share the story. So recently I went on a trip to Paris and I was flying out from New York City, okay? It was a direct flight from JFK to Paris. And I was traveling with my friend and we had bought economy tickets, but we wanted to upgrade to business class, okay? And I have upgraded to business class before without a problem, traveling from Ottawa to London and back to Ottawa from London. And so, you know, for me, it was like, whatever, I want to upgrade to business class. I want to manifest it. That first trip was the first time I ever manifested being in business class. And so I was like, I'm manifesting it again. I want to travel in first class because it's a long flight. I want to have that comfort, all those kinds of things. And so what happened was that when it came to doing the online check-in, so it was the day before, I went to check in, and in that check-in there's like an option that says upgrade to business class. And so I click the button, I go through, you know, pay for it, I get the confirmation email that tells me that I paid. But then when I actually looked at the ticket and the mobile pass that I got still showed me my seat in economy class. And I was like, that's weird. Why is it still, you know, there must be a glitch in the system. I don't understand why it didn't actually put me in the seat that I picked and I paid for it and all that kind of stuff. And so I was kind of like, okay, that's that's weird. And I was a bit concerned. And so I had called the airline and I explained to them the situation. They were looking at my file. They took a really long time. The guy was like, oh, okay, let me go back and talk to my supervisor. And then he'll be back, and just one moment, please. We're still looking through this and all this kind of stuff. But in the end, he said everything was okay, and that they put a note in my file for the people at the airport to know that that seat was mine and all this kind of stuff. So he said, don't worry about it. So I said, okay. So then when I go to the airport to actually go check in my bags, I go up to the desk to the guy, and he starts checking me in, doing all these things. I'm like, so I'm in the business class seat, right? And he's like, no, you're in this row. You know, it was like row 45 or something. And I was like, well, no, I paid for business class. And I showed him my email confirmation that showed that I had paid. And he looked at it and he's like, oh, that's weird. And then he goes to look at the business class, at the seat map, and he says, well, business class is all full, so there's no seats. And I was like, excuse me, what? There's no seats, but I paid for a seat. And he's like, I'm sorry, ma'am, but all of the seats are taken. The only thing that I can do for you right now is if one of the people doesn't show up, or, you know, someone doesn't check into their seat, doesn't show up for the flight, then I can put you into that seat. I'll put you on the list, but right now all of the seats are taken and there's nothing that I can do. And I was like, are you joking? Are you serious right now? And I was kind of annoyed, and I was like, okay, this is really weird. And so what he did was, for now I can put you in the superior economy class. So it's like the next level up from economy. So the level in between. And I was like, all right, fine, whatever. So we go to wait. We're in the lounge and we're waiting for the flight. And this whole time I'm journaling. I'm starting to journal, okay? Because I'm like freaking out. I'm thinking to myself, how is this possible? Like, I paid for this and this isn't fair. Why is this happening to me? What did I do? Why am I not in alignment with this? I'm like talking to the angels and I'm asking like, what is going on? Why is this not working out for me? And all this kind of stuff. And this whole time I'm thinking, okay, I just have to trust. I have to trust. This is a lesson in trusting, all this stuff. But I'm like shaking, okay? Like internally, not like really physically, but like, you know, that feeling internally when you're kind of like shaking and whatever. That's how I was feeling, okay? And so we go down to the gate when it's time, close to the time to board, and I go to the people who are sitting at that desk. It wasn't boarding time quite yet, but I'm looking at there and I tell them the situation again. They tell me the same thing. They're like, no, all the seats are full. You know, check-in hasn't ended yet, but all the seats are still full right now. And I was like, okay. Okay, so I couldn't really do anything about it. And then before I know it, they're calling for boarding. They still hadn't, you know, given me a seat because apparently it's all full. And at this point I was just like, oh, this sucks. I'm so disappointed. I'm so angry. And so I'm sitting in my seat and of course, as it turns out, the business class was full. All the seats were taken and I didn't have my seat. And I'm sitting in the other superior economy class, and I'm just like so angry and so ready to just cry, because my response when I'm angry is that I want to cry. Okay, that's how my emotional response works. And so I'm just like so mad and sitting there and like I'm like, I can't believe this. And I'm texting my friend because we still haven't actually taken off, like people are still boarding. So I'm texting her where she is in first class, and I'm like, I can't believe this. I'm so angry. What is going on? All this kind of stuff. And you know, whatever. So after we take off, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, okay, just try to get some sleep and, well, you know, whatever, all that kind of stuff. But I was so angry that I pulled out my journal and I'm like, I don't care. I don't care if the person beside me sees what I'm doing. I'm journaling like the heck out of this. I am journaling all this emotional energy out, like, and trying to understand why this happened. What is the lesson behind this? Because there's always a lesson behind all the things that we experience. And when we don't manifest the things that we desire, then there's a lesson behind that as well. So I'm journaling and letting out all of my emotions and feelings and thoughts and etc., all that kind of stuff. And what I then realized were a couple of things, okay? A couple of things that came through for me in the journaling process, okay? And so this is an example of why journaling is so powerful as well. If you know me at all, then you know that I talk a lot about journaling. I talk a lot about the power of journaling, not only to release emotions, but also to come to a deeper understanding of the lessons behind the things that you experience and the lessons behind what you need to learn in order to grow and how to move forward in your journey, okay? And so the things that came through for me, there was a couple. One was this fear of things being taken away from me, okay? And this is in the sense of, if you apply it to a different sense, is like this scarcity mindset part of me that still felt in scarcity mode, thinking that there's not enough space for everyone to be heard, to be understood, not enough space for people to be able to step into their purpose. So meaning like, oh, maybe there's not enough space for me in the spiritual world to be a spiritual teacher, to be who I want to be a successful writer, all that kind of stuff. So it's like, when you look at it, it's kind of crazy stuff, but that was what was going through my mind on a subconscious level, okay? Consciously, I wasn't really thinking that, but on a subconscious level, there was a part of me that was still holding on to this scarcity feeling that there wasn't enough space for me to be a spiritual teacher and to be the person that I desire to be, okay? That was one thing. And so as a result of that space can be taken away from me, and that resulted in this being taken, the seat, which is insignificant in the grand scheme of everything, but that the seat was taken away from me, that things can be taken away from me. And the other thing, which was even more powerful, was this idea that I was not worthy. Okay, that I was not worthy of this seat, that I was not worthy of truly stepping into the energy of the comfort and the luxury that I desire in my life, and that I had to belittle myself, basically, and that I had to be insignificant, and that I had to, and that there was also a bunch of energy around shame and guilt for wanting those kinds of things. Okay, so if you want to have lots of money, or if you want to have these luxurious things, well, there's shame and guilt around that, because people who are rich or who have this wealth, they can be snobby, or they can be mean, or they don't use money in the right way. Okay, these are crazy beliefs that I still had within me that I didn't even realize were in there. And all of this came out when it got to this point of, why didn't I receive what I truly desired? Why didn't I receive what the thing that I wanted in that moment? And then recognizing, okay, why were those beliefs within me? Why did I believe that I had to feel ashamed and feel guilty for wanting those things? Why did I believe that I couldn't have what I wanted, that I had to, in a way, lower my standards or lower who I wanted to be because of this shame and guilt? Okay, all of that kind of stuff. And so journaling through that, I recognized my level in terms of my perception on a much deeper level than before. So throughout this journey, throughout each of our journeys, we all go through different levels of healing. Okay, so when you heal your level of worthiness, then you will reach a certain point in your journey where you have to heal it again, and you have to heal it on a deeper level. And so our healing is always like this deepening and deepening in terms of how we understand it, and in terms of how we're able to transcend that energy in order to reach higher levels in what we desire and in what we want to create in our life. Okay, and so for me, that meant that I had to transcend this energy around not feeling worthy, around shame and guilt, around fear of scarcity. Okay, all of this stuff that manifested itself in me not receiving a seat. And when I asked, I was never, ever, ever supposed to have that seat, ever. I was never going to have it. I was never going to upgrade. They were never going to allow me to have it because I had to go through this lesson. Okay, so I was like, okay, fine. Like, I'm grateful that this lesson came in this way. But in that moment, I was so mad. I was so disappointed. I was so frustrated. I was like, why? But looking back now, I understood, and I'm grateful that it helped me to bring awareness to those things, because then it allowed me to elevate my standards and elevate my energy and be able to create everything else on my trip from the elevated energy, from the energy of being worthy of what I desired, okay? Being worthy of what I truly want to experience in life, and recognizing that I'm worthy of it. I am worthy of those experiences. I am worthy of purchasing a first class ticket if I want to, like all of that kind of stuff. And so it was, looking back, it was a good experience in the sense that it allowed me to recognize these things, but it also, and in a way, it also helped me to be able to teach this on a deeper level to people, to help people recognize their worthiness, but also to help people recognize when they go through a certain situation similar to this, or in a situation where all of this frustration and anger or sadness comes through because things didn't work out the way that you wanted them to. Okay. And so this story I'm sharing with you in the hopes that you understand, first of all, that you are worthy of everything that you desire. It does not matter what you want or what you desire to create in your life, how you want your life to look like. You are worthy of that, okay? Because you are a divine being. And the second most important thing I hope that you get from this video is that it's important to look at what energy and what emotions you hold around the things that you desire, or around what you want to experience. If there is shame, if there is guilt, if there is a feeling of scarcity, if there is a feeling that you're not worthy, and allowing yourself to work through those so that you can then manifest what you desire. Also, if you are in the process, or if you're learning a lesson where things are not working out the way you want them to, or that you have not manifested what it is that you want, there's always a learning lesson behind it, okay? There's always a learning lesson behind why things did not pan out the way you wanted them to, so that you can then transcend the energy and move up into that higher level of experiencing stuff, okay? So the rest of the trip in Paris for me was amazing. We stayed in amazing hotels, and on the way back, I did manage to upgrade to first class without problems, even though I was still tested, okay? Because I was still kind of fresh from that energy of how it all unfolded, I was still being tested in my trust in myself and in the universe, okay? So it didn't work out super smooth from the beginning, but it all unfolded the way it's supposed to. It all unfolded in such a beautiful flow when I allowed it to. Okay, so I still could only upgrade when I got to the airport. All of this kind of stuff happened around that, but in the end, I did get upgraded because I had worked through all that stuff. Okay, and then the last lesson for me through that whole process was the trust in myself and in the universe. Okay, trusting that yes, I did work through what I needed to work through, and yes, the universe is supporting me. And although it's not looking the way I want it to right now, the way I thought, like, oh, just pay it online and we're good, it still worked out the way it was supposed to, and I got the upgrade. I manifested what I wanted, and I was happy. Okay, so and so that just goes to show the power of working through the things that come up for you, because just because something comes up, like it trips you up and it doesn't work out the way you wanted to, or it doesn't manifest right away, doesn't mean that it's not going to manifest itself. It just means that you have to work through that energy in that moment so that you can then be in alignment with what it is that you're calling in. Okay, so I hope that this video helps you, and it shows you that we all go through these experiences. It's not just, certain people. We all go through it. We all go through these human challenges. But when we work with the help of the angels, and when we allow ourselves to work through our stuff, then it all works out the way it's supposed to. It all works out perfectly, and you manifest the things that you desire. Okay, so if you know someone who needs to hear this message, or you know someone who is going through something similar to this, please share this video with them. And if you are on Facebook or Instagram and you want to connect with me on there, make sure to go and check out the links below in the description of this video. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed yet to my channel, make sure to subscribe so that you do not miss any future videos, any future messages from the Archangels, or any future lessons that I go through. And that is pretty much it. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And as always, I am sending you lots of love and angel blessings, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.